What's going on, guys? It's Unknown Player here, and today I want to revisit those cut exotics from the Taken King and talk about the possibility of them returning with the Rise of Iron. So when I first saw this boss, who is called the Machinist, who is a strike boss supposedly, the first thing I thought is the weapon he's holding looks very similar to the weapon that was cut from the Taken King as an exotic rocket launcher. If you haven't seen this before, it's a weapon that was cut from the Taken King and the icon was in the database. The only info we have on this weapon is the icon, which you can see here showing the exotic rocket launcher, and also two of the perks. Dubious Ordnance, which means this weapon delivers a high energy volley of explosive ordnance, and also Dubious Munitions, kills from the volley add another round to the volley. So that is what we know so far about the weapon. Now, in terms of its existence, we do know that it was cut from the Taken King from a tweet by Luke Smith. When he was asked about it, he said it's an icon for a weapon that was cut from the Taken King. Data files aren't promises, there is no Horn 2.0. So that was when people were looking for the new Yellow Horn in year 2, and it was basically confirming this is not it. It was basically a weapon that was cut from the Taken King. So the first thing that I think of when I look at this weapon is definitely Fallen inspired tech. It definitely looks so similar to the weapon that this Fallen boss is holding in this trailer, and if this rocket launcher was to make it into Destiny eventually, I'm thinking Rise of Iron is the most likely based on the Fallen technology, and of course this expansion being mainly themed around the Fallen and their strange machines they tend to use. It's also entirely possible we won't see this thing until Destiny 2 or maybe one of its expansions. This could be cut for a long time. For whatever reason, this weapon was cut from the Taken King, but the main word there is cut. It wasn't scrapped, it wasn't deleted, they didn't get rid of it completely. It was simply cut, which means they're going to try and rework it and fit it into a game at a later date. As we've seen on Bungie's developer streams, it takes designers weeks to even create these weapons and come up with the inspirations for them, so I can't imagine doing all that work for nothing. They're definitely going to put this weapon in the game at some point, but the question is, when is it going to be? I'm thinking, again, personally, with the Fallen tech, it's very likely for the Rise of Iron, but once again, it could be cut entirely until Destiny 2, one of its expansions way down the line. So the other question is these exotics right here, which you can see on screen. There are 7 of them in total, which were cut from the Taken King, and these are actually in the game. These are pretty much done already. We know that because we've seen them in the trailer, and they're in the database for the entire of the year. We've been pretty much looking at them for all of year 2, wondering when they're going to put them in the game, and only recently with the April update, they were completely removed, which could indicate they might be putting them into the Rise of Iron, or maybe putting them into another expansion later down the line, or Destiny 2. Now, me personally, I'm kind of hoping they don't show up in the Rise of Iron, and I'm hoping these aren't just the exotics we're going to be getting. It would be kind of a disappointment. Like I said, we've been looking at these exotics pretty much all year. We know all the perks, we know what they do. It wouldn't be fun, or it wouldn't be a surprise, and it wouldn't be exciting like exotics are supposed to be. I think already in the Taken King, exotics were made a lot less exciting. We've basically been looking at them for all of year 2, and they end up being the main exotics for year 3. I think that'll be a problem, so I'm really hoping they come up with some new ones, and I really want exotics to feel special like they did in year 1 when we were discovering them, and they had brand new perks, and they were crazy. We just didn't know what to expect. But now it seems like we kind of know all the exotics already, and especially if they add these into the Rise of Iron, they won't be special, and it won't be really exciting to get them. You already know pretty much what they do. Even though the perks I'm guaranteeing will be changing, because most of them have very weird perks. A lot of them wouldn't really fit in the game right now, and I'm feeling like that is part of the reason why they removed them. The Shinobi's Vow, for example, are Hunter Gauntlets, and those allow you to have 2 skip grenades for the Hunter Blade Dancer subclass, and also gives them improved tracking. So that, in my opinion, would be one of the most broken exotics in the game. The skip grenades are very powerful. I don't know about OP, they're definitely very strong. I'm sure you guys are well aware of these skip grenades and how strong they can be if used correctly. Those pretty much just chew away your health. They're not very counterable. So imagine if someone had better tracking and 2 of them. That would be very strong. I'm not sure whether the Destiny right now is ready for that, and I can imagine a lot of complaints about these skip grenades. If you thought firebolts are bad, these would be literally to the next level, so I'm thinking that might be part of the reason why they put these on pause. Now, another one is the Thagamizers. These are Titan Gauntlets. These would essentially make the insurmountable Skullfort helmet basically useless, because the Skullfort gives you an extra melee charge. These Thagamizers also give you a melee charge, and on top of that, they give you the ability for your Fist of Havoc to reduce your grenade cooldown, and your grenade cooldown to reduce your Fist of Havoc. So essentially, it's the Skullfort, but better in every single way. I think that's part of the reason why they decided to put these on pause and not add them into the Taken King. I'm 99% sure these perks will change, and pretty much most of them, if not all, will get a rework. Maybe they'll make them look slightly different, but I'm thinking with the leaks especially, the fact that we've been looking at them for so long, they're definitely not just going to put them in the game as is. I'm 99% sure they will change up the perks and make them a little bit more different before they add them in. But I think it is quite likely we will see these 7 exotics added into the Rise of Iron. I can't really imagine why they'd keep them for any longer. I think it's very likely we'll see them in this expansion. Like I said, I'm hoping they spruce them up and make them more interesting, change the perks around, and maybe add some more on top of it. Of course, those are just the armor pieces. We have no weapons that we know of so far in the database that have been cut apart from that rocket launcher I just mentioned, and also those Solar and Void Thunderlords which we saw in the trailers. Again, we have no idea what's happening with those, but maybe they'll turn up in the Rise of Iron. But at least most of the exotic weapons in this expansion will be new and never seen before. So whatever the exotics are, I'm just hoping they keep them secret and don't personally announce them. I want them to be a surprise, and I want to discover them in the game and be surprised when I actually find them. I don't want them to be on the internet for ages and we know all the perks and all the details of them. Of course, it's pretty likely to happen. That's how they build the hype for the game. But I personally would love for them to be kept secret and we discover them by ourselves in September when the Rise of Iron launches. So those are all of my thoughts on the exotics and what we're likely to be seeing in the Rise of Iron. Of course, I want to know your thoughts on the exotics in the comment section. What do you think we're going to be getting? And do you think these are going to be returning with the Rise of Iron? Drop a like rating on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.